The AI economy just split in two. Hi, welcome to AI with Ankit. This is your weekly AI wrap-up. Take a look at this video.
Time magazine selected its Person of the Year for 2025, and this time it was the architects of artificial intelligence. Interesting.
This is a former CEO of Google, Schmidt, getting booed off a graduation stage by students for talking about AI by the graduating class of 2026. And they're supposed to be happy, oh my God, AI, jobs, the revolution, all of that. But here's the thing nobody in Silicon Valley wants to talk about. Those students are not confused. They are doing the math. Because in the last few weeks, the AI economy did not just grow. It has cleanly split in two. The ones who benefit and the ones who suffer. Let me show you the numbers and then you decide if those students are wrong. Let's start with Nvidia, the poster child of the AI revolution. Last week, they posted a record quarter. $81.6 billion in revenue, up 85% in a single year, with the data center business alone going up by 92%. And the profit on that? In 90 days, 3 months, $58 billion. Let's put that in perspective because these numbers don't mean much in isolation, you know. The most profitable quarter any public company in the world had ever reported before this belonged to the Saudi oil giant Aramco, about $48.4 billion. And that was at the absolute peak of the 2022 pandemic-induced oil shock, with crude over $100 a barrel and a war in Europe. Apple at its best has sat in the mid-30s. So by the reported number, Nvidia just booked the single biggest quarterly profit in the history of public companies. Imagine that. Now zoom out to the whole startup world. In the first quarter of 2026, global venture capital hit roughly $300 billion. Some trackers say $330 billion. Either way, it's an all-time high record. And it's not even close. How unprecedented? Back in early 2021, peak pandemic bubble, money was basically flowing freely. The first quarter to ever cross $100 billion was treated as a historic milestone. We just did 2.5 times of that in one single quarter. And then there's Anthropic, the maker of Claude. They are raising money right now at a valuation north of $900 billion, which would make them one of the most valuable startup on earth, or probably the most valuable startup on earth, ahead even of OpenAI. Now, watch this curve. 61 billion in March of last year, 180 by September, 380 in February, 900 billion now. That is roughly 15 times in 14 months. And both Anthropic and OpenAI are lining up for IPO this year. Okay, so the AI economy is booming. That's great news for everyone, right? Right? Not at all. And this is the part that really matters. That record $300 billion, 4 companies took about 65% of it. Nearly 2/3. OpenAI, Anthropic, XAI, and Waymo pulled in roughly $180 billion between them. And OpenAI alone raised around $120 billion, the largest private funding round in history. Now let's step back. And AI as a whole swallowed about $240 billion, 80% of all venture funding on the planet. A year earlier, that share was 55%. Now I get it, why everybody's saying this is a bubble waiting to burst. The valuation is bonkers. So this is not a rising tide lifting all the boats. This is the ocean being poured into 4 swimming pools. More money than ever, going to fewer hands than ever. That's not a boom, that's a hyper concentration. And a concentration is exactly what it feels like from the outside looking in, which is why so many people are rooting for this bubble to burst. Here's another example of how lopsided the power is. Sam Altman, founder of OpenAI, walked into Y Combinator, the most famous startup incubator in the world that he used to head at one point in time. And he made an offer. Every single startup in the current batch of Y Combinator gets $2 million in OpenAI credits. each of the startups. In exchange for what? Obviously, equity. Now, if you do the math, YC's own partner did that out loud. That's about $800 million of computing power for roughly 2% of 400 companies. And I understand the bill is raking up so high that companies like Microsoft are telling their employees to pause their cloud usage because the bill is too much. The most powerful AI company, OpenAI, is not just winning the market, it's quietly buying out a slice of the entire next generation of competitors, paid for in the one currency it prints itself, compute. So when you control the picks and the shovels, you don't have to beat the miners. You just have to take a cut of all of them. Teen guna lagan. Epic. Now here's where the second economy comes in, because all this capital has to be funded. And increasingly, it's unfortunately being funded by cutting people and their jobs. 2 weeks ago, Meta started laying off about 8,000 employees, about 10% of the company. And the language they use is the quiet part out loud. Roughly 7,000 of the people who stayed are being redirected into new AI teams. Translation: we are not shrinking, we are reallocating humans to pay for machines. On the other side is Amazon, that cut 16,000 corporate jobs in a single quarter. Across Google, Amazon, Microsoft, Meta, the planned AI spend for this year is around $725 billion, up more than 70%. Some of that bill is obviously being paid in salaries that no longer exist. So picture the full scenario: record profits, record valuations, record investments, and record layoffs at the same time, funded partly by each other. That sucks. And now go back to those students booing Eric Schmidt. He told them AI is a transformation they have the power to shape, and they booed. Because from where they are sitting or standing, that's not at all their experience. Record high unemployment is rising across the world. Fresh graduates don't have jobs. It wasn't a one-off. Another executive got booed at the University of Central Florida the same month. There's a real generational gap forming here. The people who own the AI economy talk about it as an opportunity. The people graduating into it increasingly see a tool that's being celebrated for doing their first job before the humans ever get to have it. And I don't think you can wave that away as people just not getting it. They don't get it. They don't get the revolution that's coming. Now, whether the headline number is the biggest profit a company has ever reported, like Nvidia, or your headline is a hiring freeze, these two facts live in the same week as the top story. And that is the whole story. Math is not mathing. So here's my honest take on AI with Ankit. The technology is very real. Nvidia's profit, Anthropic's curve, they're not fake or made up. AI genuinely is doing extraordinary things. I'm not an AI doomer, I'm a huge techno-optimist. But technology can be revolutionary and its economics can be dangerously concentrated. Both of these things are extremely true right now. The booing is not anti-progress. It's a market signal from the part of the economy that does not get funded. And if the only people the AI boom is obviously working for are 4 companies on top and their shareholders, the backlash you're seeing on stage is only going to keep getting louder. So that is the question I want to leave you with on this episode of AI with Ankit. Is this AI boom for real? Or you think this is just the rich getting richer? Tell me in the comments. I read each and every one of them. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video. I'm going to bring you a breakdown of the AI economy unfolding right in front of us, touching each and every one of you every week. Only here on AI with Ankit. Thanks so much for watching. Have a beautiful day.